Hello, this is me, Shadow Cool 9000 here, giving you a pitch for a Star Wars movie. My favorite Star Wars game has to be the Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I don't know why, but maybe when they're done making their new trilogy, I think they should really make this. They should really adapt this whole entire storyline because the storyline is pretty interesting. During the gap between episodes 3 and 4. The story takes scene on Kashyyyk, where Darth Vader has to kill this Jedi that's that's associated with the Wookiees, and he senses something very powerful. And then when he kills this Jedi, he reveals that he's his son, and like he says, "Where is your master? You killed my master a long time ago." So then he kills him, and then he senses this boy with great potential and power, and he trains him the ways of the dark side. His name is Starkiller. Interesting fact: Luke's original name was gonna be Luke Starkiller. I just wanted to point that out. And then Starkiller becomes this dark version of Luke Skywalker, and he becomes his perfect killing machine. And his powers are have surpassed Darth Vader's, and it's pretty impressive because he's kind of like he's so powerful as a Jedi and as a Sith, because I think he's probably one of the most interesting Siths ever because he was trained by the chosen one himself, and then he was meant to be this perfect assassin that was meant that was meant to that was meant to kill these Jedi. His missions were to kill Jedi. One of them was Grandmaster Coda, then an old man on Ratchet Prime who had the ability use the Force and make it junk wise, and then he was kind of like a Jedi that was really obsessed with the Jedi Order, and he was also with the mechanics. And then he created he recreated the whole entire Jedi Temple, and that was pretty interesting. And then he's kind of like a weak old fragile man, robotical limb, robotical he, robotical kind of like spider leg. He has these kind of like spider leg legs, and he has like four lightsabers, and he's very hard to face in the game. And then when you kill him, you take his lightsaber and then you bring it back to Darth Vader as complete. In this game, you have faced Master Coda, which is who's going to be your Jedi mentor in the sequel, and later in the game, you face him. You face an old man and an outcast. Then you face then after that, you face other Jedi. I think you actually face like a couple of Jedi, but not that much. But in the PS3 version, you kill mostly Siths and Jedi's in that game. And I really think that the concept of the Star Wars and Force Unleashed is pretty interesting. Darth Vader trains a very powerful apprentice, and he serves no matter what. But then he wants to take over the Empire and dethrone the Emperor, and we never really seen that. So they really explored with this game a little bit. And then it's all about Starkiller and Darth Vader. Towards the end, Darth Vader portrays Starkiller, and by the way, Starkiller ends up forming the rebellion. In his logo, the rogue shadow is a symbol for the rebellion. And then also he has a love interest named Juno Eclipse, which basically is she's kind of like a Han Solo character. She's kind of like a Han Solo character type. She's an engineer. She was a blaster, and she's an Imperial pilot, and she pilots Starkiller's ship, and they fall in love, and then Dark Vader is controlling them throughout the game, and then when Dark Vader when Dark Vader and him are alone talking about plans of rid of the Emperor himself says, "You have betrayed me. kill the boy. And then he kills him, but then he's brought back to life to serve his purposes again. And then he goes on his mission trying to gather all the Emperor's enemies and trying to make a rebellion. He does that, and then he gets betrayed again by Darth Vader. And then he said, I thought we were going to kill the Emperor together. No. That was going to be me, not you. So then he force chokes him, throws him off the cliff. And by the way, he also has a droid called Proxy, which is a droid that kind of transports and that kind of transforms into any kind of person. It's kind of like a training droid, and it's pretty interesting because he has all the combat systems of every Sith and Jedi, and plus he can actually turn himself into any person you see, and he gains all the information from any records and stuff like that. He's kind of like I think he's better C3. He's probably a better C3PO. And then let me continue. And then it's the final act where he goes to the Death Star and he faces Darth Vader. He said, Juno says, "You gonna come back?" Probably not. So then they kiss and he falls, and then when he finally gets up to comfort, when he finally gets up in the throne room, which you've seen in the Return of the Jedi, you have to choose the Emperor or the Darth Vader. If you go to Darth Vader, you become the Dark Lord, and you face him and you kill him, and then the Emperor kills Master Ramkoda. Then you join him, and then he turns back, and then get him out of here, and then the whole entire his ship is thrown into the damage of the Death Star. He's dead. Everyone on that ship is dead. And then Star Killer gets rebuilt, just like Darth Vader, but he has his unique look. Here is his unique look. He is like this. He's kind of like a dark. I like his suit when he transforms. It's pretty interesting. He has kind of like these claws, fingers. He has like many lightsabers, probably from his Jedi hunts. He has kind of like a mask, kind of like Darth Vader, and he feels he's really unique. And then when he serves the Emperor, he's being probably getting rid of his memory, stuff like that. And then pretty much he's using him again. And then in the dark storyline, he is sent to Tatooine to find Luke and Ben from episode 4. Then he confronts Obi-Wan, and then he kills him, and then Luke and everyone fly away, and then he appears again as a ghost, and then he kills the ghost, and then he throws a tracking beacon onto the ship, and then the next episode later, he goes to Hoth, and then he fights Luke. And then he says basically the stuff in the fifth film, where she says, imagine like you're Vader's son. No, Vader killed my father. Sure, he did. And then he faces him. He gets rid of his hand, and then Luke is succumbed to the dark side. And then he faces him again, and then he one more time the ship fucking falls away. He's stuck on Hoth, and then Luke is so demented and evil that he becomes Starkiller's apprentice. And that's the dark storyline of The Force Unleashed. And the good side, he faces the Emperor. He risks his life. He saves everyone else. He dies, and then the Emperor and I guess Darth Vader are kind of left. And then meanwhile, on another planet where they form the rebellion, Juno, talking to Master Coda. You know, a long video, yes. What was the last thing he thought about? Was it you? And then next sequel, Darth Vader has a new science experiment. He clones Starkiller, many Starkiller clones. And then the clone is more powerful than before. He's more powerful than the original. He has 2 lightsabers, more powers than before. you don't call him Starkiller, which is his name, the clone's name, and then pretty much Juno has officially took on the side of the rebellion. The rebellion's kind of like in the Galactic Civil War stages, probably in between episode 5 and 4, which you know from the films, and then the clone is on Kamino, which you know from the Clone Wars and from episode 2. Basically he's being trained by Darth Vader, trying to get rid of Starkiller's weaknesses, and then when he tries to kill Juno, he just can't. And then what are you gonna do with me? Like all the clones he tried were defected, so he killed them. And then Starkiller keeps having these visions of the original, and then he pushes him, and then he escapes, and then he goes to another planet which he can save, and he can save Master Coda, and then pretty much he saves him, and then he goes to Dagobah, and he goes to that cave, which is in episode 5 with Yoda. He goes in the cave. He has a vision. He sees Jonah on the ship like this. She's part of the rebellion now. She's on the ship. Boom. Boba Fett captures her. Comes to Tatooine. Not Tatooine. I mean Kamino. And then this is all a vision. And then the vision's over. He leaves. And then he goes to that ship with General Master Coda. The ship's attacked. Juno's kidnapped. A lot of things happening, and then after that, this scene would be so beautiful on film if they ever adapt it. And then the ship is destroyed, and then the ship is destroyed. Starkiller, the clone agreed. The clone agreed to help the rebellion out. So everyone leaves, and then off the ship, Starkiller uses the Force to guide the ship back and forth. It's a beautiful scene where the ship's going down, getting in the surface on Kamino. Beautiful visuals. That'll be such a great film if it exists. In the game, it's visually a masterpiece. Then the ship breaks apart. He gets out of the ship, and he flies down onto Kamino. And then he teams up with General Master Coda. And then they storm Kamino, and then he confronts Darth Vader again, and then he's haunted by his past. Which is again the one thing about 2 is the clone is being driven mad about the first game, something like that. And then he confronts Darth Vader. You are nothing. When you die, I'll remake you again, and I'll kill you 1,000 times more. They confront. Darth Vader goes up. He uses Juno's hostage. Then you will my bidding. You will kill blah blah blah. Then Juno is on the floor. She grabs his lightsaber. She tried to attack. Darth Vader pushes her off. Pushes her farther away. Starkiller gets angry and starts going berserk. And then he wounds Darth Vader. And then in the end, Darth Vader's crippled with no hands. With one hand anyway. And then Starkiller has to between the dark and the light side. General Master Coda comes. He says, when you choose the light side, you spare him and you capture him. And you bring him back to the rebel base. If you choose the dark side, you die. And what? And then the evil version of yourself kills everyone else. And then the dark side ending again. You're on Endor, episode 6, where Luke is dead. In this universe. Leia becomes a Jedi, and the dark version helps destroy Endor. That's probably got a lot of people pissed people off. Then when Starkiller when he gets to the base where they blow up the Death Star the shield, he kills Chewbacca and Han Solo. And then Leia becomes a Jedi, just like her brother. Then she gets killed by Starkiller, and then he's waiting in this position. He looks like this, by the way. I think that's the best picture out of the whole entire franchise. And then he's kind of like this, waiting. Then the ship comes. He gets black. We don't know after that. But then you go on the Death Star. The Emperor is portrayed again. Is almost portrayed again. You have, and then pretty much he cripples Darth Vader. And then, boom, we have no idea what happens after that. I think the Star Wars Force Unleashed can be broke up into two films. But I think if you want to make the DLC, I think you should put it kind of like in another film. They can be like what ifs, like what if you turn to the dark side? So then you make a whole entire film where he's evil, and then in the sequel you do the same thing. Pretty much, I think like the Endor DLC probably would be kind of like a short film, or that could kind of be kind of like bonus feature. You should really adapt the storyline. The storyline is pretty interesting. It's probably a better and a significant gap between episode 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Because I think this is probably a great start if you want to not do Luke or Leia. You can do this. Because this Starkiller is such an interesting character. Because his father was a Jedi, his mother was a Jedi, and then pretty much, like, he's the most powerful Sith Lord and Jedi ever. And the clone has so many powers uniques. Like, in the first game, all you have is lightning and choking, and not choking. And then in this game, you have the mind trick and the lightning, but no choking. You have more Jedi abilities in this game. And then in the sequel, you have 2 lightsabers, and you kill people more quicker. In the first one, you're having 1 lightsaber, and you're doing a lot of damage. I think that if you adapt this whole entire story, it will be amazing. Because I think if you adapt the storyline, which I'll be, because this is probably one of my favorite Star Wars games. Well, it is. Well, the new one, Star Wars 1313, which I think this is probably a very good game, because it came out in 2009, then the next one came out in 2011, and 2010 or 11, I don't really care. I think that this film has more potential than what they're doing, Episode 7, because really, I love Star Wars, and again, the expanded universe thing. After the trilogy, maybe you can this. You can make like 2 films with this and go with the good ending, but then you can do the bad ending for episode 1 for episode 1, which I mean the first game. I think if you adapt the evil storyline to that game, would probably be this. The second one is kind of like, it'll piss fans off that you kill half the main protagonists in the original trilogy, which is pretty interesting, because I really think that Starkiller is such a better character than Luke Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader, which is Darth Vader now. So he trains an apprentice, and this is how he trains an apprentice. He forces him to become this thing he just wants to be. He rebels in the game, and then he finds his own destiny, because Darth Vader is controlling his whole entire destiny in both games. You're mine. You're just a pawn. Again, Darth Vader is his character I love. He's one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars franchise, because he has such a good character. Just like Starkiller. Starkiller has the same type of character, but completely different. His background is more better, his background is more significant, and you have more information about him, and you actually care about him. You care when he dies, and you care if he turns to the dark side. Because in the game, you play his apprentice, but then you start to realize, what side am I on? Am I being controlled? I should find my own destiny, and he does. He seeks his own destiny with the help of his true love, Juno, and help of his Jedi Master, Ram Koda. And I think that if you want to see a new character, you should adapt this, because I think the game mechanics for the game is amazing, but I would love to see this. I would love to see the acquisition. The action in this game is pretty fantastic. The visuals for this film will probably be very amazing. If you've seen any gameplay from both games, and from from this picture, this is what I meant. He destroys our Star Destroyer and comes to the ground. No, we have never seen that in a Star Wars we have never seen that in a Star Wars movie. And then Starkiller does this in this game because he's the most powerful. He's the most powerful badass Sith slash Jedi ever. And I really think that if you love Darth Vader slash Anakin Skywalker slash the Chosen One, then you're gonna love Starkiller, which is probably a very interesting character. He's similar to Anakin. But he's completely different. And I really think that you can really adapt this character well. I think a few people that you have to cast is maybe the rest, but you don't really have to cast Starkiller, because Starkiller, interesting fact, the Starkiller, when they modeled him, they took the face from the actor himself. So you get the actor to play Starkiller, and then all you gotta do is cast everybody else. Which Darth Vader will probably be simple if you cast Hayden Christensen, who played Darth Vader slash Anakin Skywalker in the episode 3, which I think he was probably a better looking Darth Vader than the original, which is my opinion. But this is kind of my idea of what should they do after the new trilogy of the new Star Wars trilogy. This is basically my idea what they should do after that, and this game would be beautiful and fantastic and adapted into a great movie. Thank you very much, and I hope you watch my Assassin's Creed 4 thoughts.